think it's important when Black girls hear this story, because then they'll know that they can't do anything. And they're amazing and they can do anything. And if the world tells them no, that's just a reason to keep pushing and go forward.
Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to this edition of Conversations from Studio 5. You just heard the voice of actress Naya Desir-Johnson. She plays the role of Sarah Rector in the film Sarah's Oil. The film is inspired by the real-life Sarah Rector, known as one of the youngest Black millionaires ever. We're talking to Desir-Johnson about her role in the film, along with Kenric Green and Sonequa Martin Green, as well as Zachary Levi. So let's begin our conversation with the Rector family and the actors bringing the faith-filled story of Sarah and her parents to light. Naya Desir-Johnson, Kenric Green, and Sonequa Martin Green.
Naya, I'll start with you. How would you describe Sarah and why did you want to play her?
I wanted to play Sarah Rector because she's amazing. I felt like there's so much I can say about her, that she's brave, she's ambitious, and she still loved her family. And the best part about that is that they supported her, because most of the kids that I know, their families don't really support most of the choices that they make. And I think it's really important to have a family that will believe you, that trusts you, and they don't question every single one of your choices. And Sarah Rector's family, they did question her, but they believed her in the end, because this is something that she was right about. And if she didn't push, she might have been killed at an early age, and she might have not become the first Black girl in America to be a millionaire. And there wouldn't have, maybe for many, many years to come. So I think it's just awesome that I was chosen to play her, because this is amazing.
I have a daughter named Sarah. You're making me tear up. I'm just listening to you. Sonequa, you played Rose Rector, Sarah's mom. So you read the script for the first time, or the book, or you hear the story. What are your thoughts immediately following?
We've been talking a lot about just what a wonder it is that this story is not known. I had seen that picture that circulates, which is actually not her. Right. We found that out, from her descendants. I had seen that picture, but I had never heard the story. And there was so much about the origin of the state of Oklahoma that I didn't know. There was so much about natives and enslaved Black folks that I didn't know. The Dawes Act, I did not know. This is serious American history, serious Black history that I think was deliberately hidden. So that was the first thing, was like, I'm sorry, what? Who? How did this happen? And then, being able to bring the Rectors to life. Rose was really integral in Sarah's life once they came into the well. Once Sarah, took possession, got the oil. Her and Rose had a really fantastic relationship as mother and daughter, but also professionally speaking. And they worked together to build. And that was another thing that really touched me. How the family interacts with each other, how the community comes together, the faith forwardness, the courage of this girl, how she led her family to a whole new life and solidified herself in history. All of these things blew my mind and blew my heart. And us being able to do this together was the other big thing, man, that just answered prayer. Like it was phenomenal.
I love it. So husband and wife on screen, husband and wife in real life. Kenric, you play Sarah's dad. What do you think guides and bonds this family in such a fierce fight? I was just struck by the unity that we're seeing.
Yes, I think in a word, faith. Faith is the glue. I think without that, this story does not play out in the way that we've come to understand it. And to get to walk that out in the Rector shoes as, with my real life wife and with our new surrogate daughter here, right? It was just it was a dream to be able to do that. And so there's the togetherness in the story, and it really translated off camera in between takes between the three of us and Adion, who played Junior. And it's beautiful how it all took place. And God was there with us in between takes too. And that's how it all came together, and how the Rector family was able to overcome all of the adversity they experienced in this time.
I'd like to ask you all real quick, last question, and each of you respond. Why do we need this story right now?
We need this story. Sorry.
Jump in.
Straight to you.
That's right. She's a smart one.
That's right.
Yeah.
We need this story because there are many little Black girls right now who aren't feeling empowered that they can do anything because society is purposely shutting them out. And that isn't okay. And I think it's important when Black girls hear this story, because then they'll know that they can't do anything. And they're amazing and they can do anything. And if the world tells them no, that's just a reason to keep pushing and go forward. And for Sarah Rector, to face these trials and hardships, I think it'll just spark a light within them, and more of them will stand up and speak for what they believe in. That's why I think we need this story, and many other people too. They feel like they can't stand up and speak their mind. But I think it's really important because we need more people who aren't afraid to speak up. And I think this is a calling to those people. But yeah, I think this is why we need that story.
I love it. And God called you to help tell it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Pleasure. Thank you.
And we continue our conversation now with Zachary Levi. The actor worked in front of the camera and behind the scenes to help guide this story from script to screen. He plays the unforgettable role of Bert Smith.
So, Zachary, I read that you described Sarah as intelligent, precocious, and spirit-filled. How would you describe Bert? Does he match her spirit?
I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, he's an intelligent man. And I guess you could also kind of call him a little precocious. Not as spirit-filled, certainly not in the beginning of the film, but I think that toward the end, that's a big impact that Sarah has on Bert, is to reflect God to him and to remind him that there is something bigger, larger, more important than the more, let's say, selfish life that he had been living up to that point. So yeah, there's some similarity and also some difference.
What do you think it is that allows him to stand with this little Black girl at a time where everyone is mounting a fierce fight against her?
Well, I mean, initially it's opportunity, right? I think that at his core, again, particularly in the beginning of the film, Bert's an opportunist. He's a hustler. He's somebody who, and I think a lot of people were and still are, obviously. I mean, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there for a lot of people. And so he grew up hard and worked hard in lots of different wildcatting capacities, digging up earth and for many years, as he talks about in the film. He digs for everything. But I do think that, there's something about Bert that, and you see it, that I think that Bert, particularly having worked in the oil fields and worked with Black men and Latin men, and they're just men to him. Like, yes, there is nomenclature and things that get thrown around and everything else, but Bert was never part and parcel to the kind of racist tendencies that I think a lot of other people unfortunately fell under. and at his core, And so I don't think he ever saw Sarah as anything, or her family as anything other than just other human beings. I think he saw an opportunity to make some money, and then didn't realize that his life was going to be, changed by her faith and her love for her family and for God.
When you first read this story for the very first time, be it the book, the script, what did you think?
I mean, I was blown away. I couldn't believe that this story. I couldn't believe that I had never heard this story. Not that I am, steeped in all of the history of the United States. Most people aren't. But it was so profound, this young Black girl in a very segregated, still racist Tulsa, Oklahoma, became the richest woman in America because she had been given this land that the government thought was crap land because you couldn't grow anything on it. But she, in her faith, prayed over this land, heard God tell her there is oil in this land, and fought for it with everything in her. And for that to be true, and that all bared witness, that everyone saw this miracle happen because of this young girl's faith and strength and perseverance. I'm like, if that's not a story that needs to be told, I don't know what is. I don't know. So as soon as I read the script, I said, I need to be a part of this. I need to make it happen. Whether I played Bert or not, I wanted to make sure that this story was made.
Sarah's family has said that this is possibly the most realistic depiction of Sarah's story and the family story that they have seen. When you hear that, what are your thoughts?
I love hearing that. Listen, I mean, I've been blessed to be a part of quite a few true stories as an actor at this point. And always the most important thing is honoring those real people, whoever it is, whether they're still with us or not. It's their story before anybody else's story, right? So for Sarah's family, I wish that Sarah herself could be here, and maybe spiritually she is, to be able to witness all of this transpiring, and I hope that she's proud of all of this. But the next best thing is for her family, who is still here with us, to watch what we have created and to give us their stamp of approval and to enjoy it and be moved by it and to approve of it is the highest level of praise that we can get. Everything beyond that is just gravy.
How would you describe life on the set when you guys were working on this?
Hard fought. I mean, wonderful group of people, cast and crew. Really grateful for everyone who rolled up their sleeves and became a part of this. We didn't have a huge budget and we didn't have a lot of time. And that's unfortunately a lot of movies, right? You never really have enough money or enough time. And so it's always a little bit of this like magic and miracle that needs to transpire in order for the film to take fully, take form. And so just very grateful for everyone and all of their hard work, because there were a lot of things that we did not anticipate, a lot of weather that came through, a lot of, strange. We thought we had this location and then we didn't have this location. And it took a lot of people working very diligently to make sure that we always had a solution for each one of those problems or puzzles. And ultimately we made it work. And now we're sitting here getting to talk about all of that hard work. And so my hat is off to all of our cast and our crew and to the wonderful people in Oklahoma who embraced us and to help us, make this thing come to life.
Thank you so much. Great film. Enjoyed it.
You can see this on-screen family in Sarah's Oil in theaters nationwide right now. Some fun facts about today's guests. Zachary Levi has an impressive career. He's been in several blockbuster films, including Shazam. And Naya Desir-Johnson may look familiar. She made her first major acting performance in the series The Equalizer. Real-life husband and wife Kenric and Sonequa Green have been seen in Star Trek Discovery and The Walking Dead. And here's another tidbit for you. NFL star Russell Wilson and his wife, recording artist Sierra, are executive producers on Sarah's Oil. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Conversations from Studio 5. We appreciate you making this your weekly destination for uplifting interviews with a strong focus on faith. For more information on the show, be sure to check out our Facebook page. You can also find us on Instagram simply by searching Studio 5. Hope you'll join us right here next week on the podcast.